Good afternoon, all of you. Welcome to our today's webinar. The topic of our today's webinar is the machine learning based natural language processing. So I just want to give you some little application kind of introductory to the natural language processing. So natural language processing is one of the bubble topic of the machine learning. So we all are using our personal assistant at our home, like Siri and Alexa. This is also the one of the application of the natural language processing. So I am welcoming Dr. Shalini Puri. The ma'am is our guest of our today's webinar, the speaker of our today's webinar. So I just want to introduce a ma'am a little. So ma'am is an assistant professor on the senior scale in the Department of Information Technology, Manipal University, Jaipur. And ma'am awarded as a PhD in engineering from the Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi, Jharkhand. Ma'am having the 18.5 year of teaching experience, okay, and the 11 year into the research. And ma'am have very reputed and very strong background of research. So welcome, ma'am, to our today's webinar.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a very good opportunity to associate with the Parul University. And okay, shall I begin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today, the topic of this presentation is machine learning based natural language processing. As we all know that in today's market, in commercial market today, we are using machine learning with every other field. Okay, and what we are trying to do, we are trying to use the hybrid technologies and sampling of different approaches with the second one. So in this machine learning also, we are fusing this machine learning with the natural language processing. All the many applications are presently running up in the market, but still what is the base behind it? Why do we need machine learning behind natural language processing? So we will discuss this today in this session. The contents, these are the basic contents which I would like to cover. I mean, something about the ML, AI, NLP, and what is actually text processing in NLP, how we say it as natural language processing, what is actually natural language, right? And what is the sentence processing in the natural language processing, what word processing, or there are actually many applications over there that which are associated with the NLP. Okay, now what we are actually doing, we are completely trying to integrate the concept of the ML with the NLP. Okay, we are fusing both of them and how they can be run together, how they can produce some good simulated results. This is the base scenario, and this is the topic of the today. Okay, we'll discuss some NLP techniques, or you may say these are the NLP based steps which we should follow while processing different type of text documents. And then we will see some case scenarios related to the fusing of NLP with the ML. Okay, so this is a very basic beginning. The machine learning, as we all know that today's market is a machine learning market. Okay, in that we are trying to make machines very intelligent, which are actually being made intelligent in a way so that it can be integrated, it can be merged with every other field of the society. Okay, and we are here to provide many solutions, many different solutions for the society and for the empowerment of the society, and different solutions for the different issues of the society. That's why machine learning is being integrated with every other field. Okay, it is not just related to the NLP, it is related to the every other field, say civil and mechanical and any other field, right? So the main categorization which we actually do with the machine learning, that is mostly we do it as we bifurcate it into supervised learning and the unsupervised learning, but sometimes we also take the third category of this one. This is known as reinforcement learning or the semi-supervised learning. Okay, so supervised learning, so unsupervised learning, and the third one is categorized as reinforcement learning, in which we take the reward based technique where we merge we may merge different techniques and different methods to get the results in a different way, right? If the results are predicted or classified correctly, that is rewarded, the technique is directly used. Otherwise, in that case, we may ignore that. Okay, right? The second thing, the supervised learning. The supervised learning is mostly the required supervision, in which it's a very basic example you people can take. If a teacher is teaching to a student or to a class, that is a concept of the supervised learning, okay, in which there is a teacher who is supervising many students. In that way, supervised learning, supervised machine learning actually works. Now, there are many techniques which are directly applicable for the supervised learning machines. These are decision trees, support vector machine, random forest, auto combination of decision tree and random forest also. We can take the hybrid techniques of these ones also, okay? These are the basic ones. We take logistic regression, probably logistic regression and regression techniques are actually used for the prediction technique, for the prediction and analysis. Similarly, naive Bayes and multinomial naive Bayes. So many techniques are there for the supervised learning technique, and in the case of unsupervised learning, we don't have any type of teaching or any type of teacher, any type of supervision through which the labels can be generated, or we don't have actually historical data. That is a case. That's why we use the clustering techniques. One of the best known clustering techniques, the K-means, in which we try to find out the means of we try to find out the mean of different clusters, and we design again and again the different means. So this is one of the unsupervised learning technique, in which we don't take any label, we don't take any historical data, and again we try to simulate the results, try to predict the results, try to get the results, try to get the categories of different types. Okay, we'll take an example, a case-based scenario later on, and there are many applications. As such, I should say ML is everywhere. Okay, that is my statement, because ML is being integrated with every other field, every other area, so that better solutions can be provided to the society. Now, next is the artificial intelligence. As you people know that machine learning is somehow the part of the artificial intelligence, because it is the mother of the artificial intelligence, is called as a mother of the machine learning. And from machine learning, we take another term that is known as a deep learning, right? So artificial intelligence was first generated, then it was the concept was to produce the intelligence in the artificial way. Okay, we people have brains, so that means we have some neurons are working, and they're regularly working, and accordingly, when we get the input, we get the output, and we produce the neurons produce the output, and accordingly we act, we behave, we do our works in daily life, right? So that is the artificial intelligence concept, and some concepts of the swarm intelligence were also integrated somehow after some time. Then many techniques, ant colony system, genetic algorithm, many other fields were actually came into the market, right? So if we say the artificial narrow, there are main three categories of the artificial intelligence. So first one is the artificial narrow intelligence, in which you see the machine intelligence that actually equal or exceed the human intelligence. That is known as the narrow intelligence. The next one is known as the artificial general intelligence, a machine with the ability to apply the intelligence to any problem. So because it's a generic one, so the generic solution should be a big solution, so that it can be applicable to every other problem. Okay, the solutions can be provided for every other problem. That is the main thing behind it. The third one is the artificial super intelligence, which is very, very smarter than the best human brains in practical field, and including, you may say, the NASA or the products which are created scientifically. They are related, say, robotics and wisdom or social skills or experiences. So this is the main criteria behind it. Okay, so now just a minute. Okay, then if you see this diagram here, you can see this is a knowledge-based learning. Firstly, actually we have the data, and the data is, people, that it is known as the raw facts, raw data, and randomly generated, randomly collected, right? When it is converted in the information, it becomes some, it actually provides some more useful information, right? After that, the next step is to get the knowledge, to create the knowledge. And the knowledge based learning is completely related to the artificial intelligence and the machine learning, because actually what we are doing, we are trying to make the machines, we are trying to develop the machines which are really very intelligent, which automatically does their work. The instructions are provided to them in the supervised way or in the unsupervised way, and in that way they provide some knowledge, and accordingly they take the get the experience, because as we people get the experience through our life and different real-time examples, similarly machines are also given some facts, some rules, and some instructions so that they can get the knowledge. And similarly we can create the hypothesis. The prior information is like historical data which is unavailable in the clustering or the unsupervised learning, but most probably if it is there, because most of the systems are used actually using the supervised learning concept, so they are actually using the prior knowledge concept also. Similarly we can similarly such systems can predict whether the forecast, they can forecast the weather, they can predict the weather, whether it will be raining or it will be a very hot day, or it will be a sunny excuse me, it will be a sunny day. Similar type of observations can also be analyzed. Okay, so now coming to the main point, the main topic, that is the natural language processing. In case you people know that what is the natural language, the natural language, say I'm speaking in English, obviously this is the natural language. If we are speaking Hindi, then it is the natural language. If somebody is speaking something in French, then again it is the natural language. Okay, so actually the maximum research work which has been proposed till date, that is mostly on the English language, because English language is is a very simple language to be processed. And if you see different type of tools, generators, techniques, analyzers, etc., they all are using English language for the documentation, for manual processing, and for everything. They're giving us the manuals, or everything is written in the English. So most probably they are using English as a prominent language. Okay, similarly if we are processing Hindi, that is a different task. It is also considered as a natural language. In the natural language processing, we should know what is the sentence, what is a word, and what is actually how a sentence is framed. It is very related to the English and English grammatical syntaxes. Okay, we must know how the English one English sentence is framed, how it is broken up into the sentence, into the words, and what are the delimiters. So once a sentence is taken, once a document is taken, a document is always segmented into multiple parts. Okay, and these are the, see, you can say these are the paragraphs and the delimiter, the dots, commas, etc. After that, the words, the important words, the relevant words are extracted, and irrelevant words are ignored. They are just discarded because they actually unnecessarily increase the total size of the data. Okay, and then we lexically, syntactically, and semantically check the natural language, the document, the words which actually we are getting. We actually check them, and then we come to some conclusion, or we produce some solutions. Some of the examples examples of word sense disambiguation. That means there are many words, I have also given one scenario on the fake news detection also, to let you understand what is the word sense disambiguation. Information extraction, sentiment analysis, language translation, text extraction, topic classification. There are many applications where the natural language processes, analyzers can be implemented. Okay, and it is a very common way, or it's the best way to integrate the ML with the natural language. Okay, similarly if you see this diagram, this is again the classification for the text documents. The text documents may be in the Word, maybe in the in the TXT format and in the PDF formats, and accordingly, if you are using these text documents, that means you want to analyze the natural language and which is embedded in that text document, and you want to apply this NLP. I mean, you want to categorize some data in this which is present in this document using either supervised or unsupervised or semi-supervised learning mechanism, right? So semi-supervised is a combination of supervised and unsupervised both. So moving further, this is, if you see, there are actually text processing system can be divided into multiple dimensions. There are 4 dimensions which I have focused upon. The first is a language based retrieval, because actually what we do with this, we check the language also. Okay, if this is the English, the language, the document is very simple, you extract the document. But if it is, say, the Hindi document, then automatically the complexity level will be different. So it is really, I mean, difficult to analyze different language documents. I'm not saying that English language document is very simple to be processed, but still the complexity level is lower. And still, if you take any other local language, any Indian native language, there are different consonants, the vowel structure, the word structure, the complexity level will increase accordingly. Okay, so now further, if you see the data analytics field, accordingly we get the data, we try to get the information, we try to get the how these language-based constructs or words are actually extracted. There are different means to extract different type of constructs from a different language. If it is Hindi, we should know how the word is constructed, how the letters, how the words can be extracted. It may be some procedure will be similar among them in between different languages, but still the remaining processing is different, because the consonant and vowel structures actually create different scenarios. Similarly, there are attribute structuring, different type of attributes of each language processing is there. And finally, what we do actually, we test our system to and we analyze it actually what it is producing, what it is giving us. Okay, the results are categorized or not, the results are exact or not. For that, we try to get the confusion matrices, or we try to find out the accuracy of the system. So in the similar way, we try to find out the different performance matrices and we get the results. The next is this, the NLP technique. Actually, it consists of main 5 components. If you say have any NLP statement, any English statement, okay, and then you want to process it. So first you must know what is a morphological analysis. Morphological analysis is just to divide, to bifurcate different words, the individual words. So we can get different components out of it, and so that we can get the tokens. These are known as tokens. So this is actually the lexical analysis of any sentence, of any word, or of any document, right? So we actually try to get all the words, we try to extract all the words, right? Next is to process, to get the syntax of such thing. The syntax is nothing else, just to find out the hierarchical structure, which one is noun, which one is not noun, which one is verb, adjective, adverb. So all these grammatical constructs are simulated with the system so that we can be able to find out which one is used, okay, which one is noun phrase. And then we find out the actual meaning of the sentence, okay. So once like we are able to get all the words, then they are organized in such a way so that we can get the exact meaning of the word. As we people know what is the meaning of a particular sentence, but how to make a machine to learn how machine can learn that this is the meaning of the a particular word, or this is the meaning of a particular sentence or a paragraph. So that's why if you people know that we have language translators or language typewriters, analyzers, and multiple systems, language converters, English to Hindi, Hindi to English, dictionary systems are there so that the words can be analyzed by the system, right? So similarly, we have another concept, that is a discourse integration, in which it is actually checked whether one sentence is depending upon the second one, right? So for an example, I just give very basic example. And my name is Dr. Shalini Puri. I stay in Jaipur. Okay. Yes, obviously the second sentence is depending upon the first one. That's why these type of dependencies are extracted in the system. And the last one is to check the pragmatic analysis. It actually reinterprets, reanalyzes the system to find out the actual meaning of whole paragraph or whole document. This is actually used in the summarization systems or summarizers, where we actually get all the sentences first, then we extract their words, we take the relevant words, we ignore the irrelevant words, then we may check what is the meaning of a particular sentence. If it is not required, that we will not ignore any irrelevant word, because if we want to extract the meaning of the sentence, that means we are at the stage of the semantic analysis, right? So after that, we will reinterpret the meaning of the sentences, we will check the dependencies, discourse integration is performed, and after the pragmatic analysis is done, actually just reinterpret the meaning of whole paragraph or whole document. So final conclusion remarks can be given, or final summary can be given. So these are the basic steps of an NLP technique. I'm also giving a very interesting example over here. So for an example, I have taken random data for that. Say Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his entourage left India for New York 21st September 2017. Okay, so here you can see that in this sentence we have taken the normal words, we have taken the nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and some numeric numbers also, right? Numerical data is also there. So accordingly, we should know which one is noun or which one is configured, which one is bifurcated into some other one, right? Similarly, you can define a sentence as a noun phrase or a verb phrase. This is actually the grammatical structure which is designed for any NLP construct. Okay, so if you're taking any sentence, so the grammar portion of that system should be very, very efficient enough so that it can categorize. I mean, it can take your sentence. It should be able to identify the noun phrase or the verb phrase of your system. Verb phrase of your system, and then the nouns, the adjectives, the adverbs of your system, and then it will actually there are so many constructs in the English language also. So conjunctions are there, interjections and negative sentences. So many things are there. So in that also, we try to identify such things, right? So the system is made enabled so that it can identify the nouns and it can categorize them in the noun phrases. It is a very general technique, very common technique to do that. But the grammar portion is difficult, in which each sentence is framed and bifurcated according to its particular construct. So if you see here, the sentence can be in the noun, can have noun phrase and the verb phrase. The noun phrase can further be have article, and then further noun phrase is divided into noun phrase 1, noun phrase 2. PRO stands for the pronoun, V stands for the verb, VP stands for the verb phrase. So similarly, such type of grammar is completely constructed. Even for the numbers also, we need to construct the grammar, right? So if you see this one, so we have taken some examples, some cases over here. So that example which we actually took earlier, the Prime Minister to 2017. So C1 category is to have Prime Minister and President September, New York, India. These are the important words, right? Next, if we see the category that is a Narendra Modi, that means if you see this one, this is a name. Obviously, this will be a name, noun phrase, right? So it will be taken up into that category. The C3 is to take the numbers and the numeric values. C4 is for left, adverbs, adjectives, and articles, pronouns, everything's every other word which is particularly meant for a particular construct, that is made available to that one and categorized into that one. So similarly, you can see this diagram, such type of diagram. If you see, this is the parsing construct. Okay, the parsers are used to make such constructs. So sentence can be bifurcated into noun phrase, and then a sentence is bifurcated in noun phrase and verb phrase, noun phrase to noun phrase one, noun phrase two, verb phrase into verb phrase, verb and the noun phrase. So accordingly, actually, we have taken one example. That's why I've designed this diagram. But if you take the whole grammar of all English constructs, of all English sentences, that the grammar will be very, very complex, will be very big, and accordingly, the system will produce the different results. Okay. So these are the steps which we can take for the sentence level analysis. We need to first write the grammar for the system, draw the syntactic tree structure of the given sentence, find out the category sets. There will be total 7 category sets as we have taken the last example. Noun, proper noun, number, verb, conjunction, and prepositions. Further, we can move ahead with the term frequency of each word, because if prime word was, if we can see the example, then prime word was only used once. Okay, so the term frequency of prime word was 1. Similarly, Narendra Modi, the complete phrase was taken, so the term frequency of that one will also be 1. Similarly, we can we can get the refined category sets of all these ones, right? Secondly, we can also put some threshold. By to put the threshold, because if we are taking all the statements, we are taking all the words, then the resultant data set will be very, very big, and it would be very difficult to analyze such data, right? And we don't need such data because it is really, I mean, it is taking so much of space. Unnecessarily, we are storing that. That's why we should choose a threshold value so that we can only take the relevant ones, we can ignore the irrelevant ones. So this is a main point. This is for that many techniques are there so that a total number of features can also be reduced. So once these words are taken and into the consideration, after that we analyze the features of every document, of every data, right? So firstly, feature analysis is something to analyze the features. What are the different features? Say if you are taking an image may have different features, the size of the image, the shape, the color, which type of picture it is, which type of contents, the textual data, something like that. So there may be many features which are used to analyze, which are analyzed actually for the particular document, for the particular picture, for the particular file which you are actually taking as an input. Okay, so feature analysis is an integral part of any system, right? Mostly we don't ignore it. If you are designing a new system without using any feature analysis, it would be really very difficult, because feature analysis is mostly considered as an integral part of every other supervised or unsupervised learning model. Okay, so further we can refine such category sets, we can refine such data sets so that the total size of the data set can be reduced. And similarly, I have taken here an example. So if you see, the C11 category denotes a prime word, so that is a term frequency number 1, which is less than 10. So accordingly, I have designed some categories for you. So this is the generic model which we can take at the sentence level. So there may be 3 levels for that. The word level, right, where we are extracting all the words. We should have the collection of the words, and all other irrelevant words should be removed and they should be ignored, right? And then we will process, before processing the words, we should have the sentences. And before processing every sentence, we should have the complete document. That means we should take the complete document from the corpus, then we will extract the sentences, then we will extract the words, and then we will process actually the words. If you see the text analysis, the text document analysis, it is very simpler than the analysis of the data which is contained in the images. Okay, we'll later see this example also. So there are some steps which we actually follow for the text document processing. Sentence extractor, then we can draw the syntax tree. We should remove the stop words, we should lematize it, we should remove all the irrelevant words, word stemming, we should get the feature vector, then perform the frequency, calculate the feature frequency, get the reduced feature set, and finally, when you get the reduced feature set, that should be processed further. Now, these are steps for the NLP. Now, what we want to do, we want to apply ML with the NLP. Now, what would be the next step? So if I have taken 10 examples, 10 documents, right? So these are some data sets. I will be taking this example later on. Some data sets you may take from Rioters. It's a very common and big data set from which you can get the text documents, the Yahoo News articles, other Yelp articles, Flipkart articles. So news articles you can take for the as a data set, and you can proceed for your project. And IBM training documents are also there. I have taken only 8 categories to let you know, to describe you how these categories may be taken. So if say you want to categorize, you want to get some documents, you may collect the documents from automobile companies, business documents, cinema documents, crime documents, and health, politics, sports, and technology, right? So all these documents, I have taken here 8 categories. Then if I take the documents from all these, for all these 8 categories, then all the documents will be categorized only in these 8 categories. Okay. Similarly, I may take some more categories, say acquisition, copper, earn, ship, wheat. Similar type of categories can be designed for your project, and accordingly you can take the documents, you can go for the NLP processing, and after that you can apply the ML algorithm. It is your choice to implement whether to proceed with the supervised learning or unsupervised learning. Okay, so now we are taking this concept with the text mining. In text mining, there are always very large corpus, and the data should be handled very properly. And because there are so many enormous data, if you see the social media data today, each minute, each second, the Twitter, the Facebook, and every other social media is generating so much of data, right? So that data is a big data, how it can be handled. So now we are not taking that concern over here, but we are discussing only what is actual text mining and how the NLP concepts can be merged with the ML, right? So this is, say, if we have gone through the text document training processor, which we discussed earlier, and after doing that, we will get the feature, we will get all the features, all the relevant features, all the relevant data, all the relevant words. Then you can use in the supervised learning, you need to provide the classes. Say you want to take the cricket class or any other class. After performing the learning phase, you should go for the classification phase also, because you know that in the supervised learning we have 2 categories. I mean, we have 2 steps. The first is the learning phase, and second one is the classification phase. So in the classification phase, if you're not going for the supervised learning method, so you may proceed with the different clustering methods, the key means you can use, right? And you need to analyze all the features very properly. But if you're going for the supervised learning method, then you can go for the classification phase, right? And similar patterns, similar steps will be performed with the classification phase also, because you need to provide the training to your particular classifier. You may take more than one classifier also. You can take the hybrid techniques, you can apply the ensemble techniques with it, so that you can get the proper results, right? According to your system, according to your database, according to your feature extraction, I mean feature analysis, all that things can be compared with each other, and may be compatible with each other. Okay. Next point is that I'm using the feature analysis term again and again. That the reason behind is that there are major two techniques in the feature analysis. The first one is known as feature selection, and second is known as feature extraction. Sometimes there may be some problems, some issues for the what's actually the differences between feature selection and feature extraction. Actually, feature extraction means you're taking all the inputs, and after that you are converting all the features into some other form, so that the total number of features will be reduced, and they will be converted into some form so that you can use them directly. This is one method. In the feature selection, you are selecting some features. There are many features, but you are not taking all the features in your project, and you are taking only a few features in your project which are really very, very relevant to your project. So these are two techniques. So whatever is applicable for your project, for your scenario, you can take and you can go ahead with that. Okay. So this is I have given the text learning phase and text classification in the supervised learning scenario. Here we are taking pseudo-thesaurus, in which you can also take the English data help, or Word also provide sub dictionary for that. Similarly, if you are taking learning phase, the same steps will be applicable for the classifications phase. In the text learning phase, you must have the sentence level, document level, the integrated corpora level. So firstly, all the sentences will be processed. They are processed at the document level. When all the sentences of one document are processed, after that, the results of one document will be merged with the results of second document. That means all the features will be merged together. Then further, what you can do, that you can reduce the total number of features. Further, you can use any principal component analysis or any other method to reduce the total dimension of the data. Because sometimes what happens, the total number of features, the total number of data, actually what we are using, that becomes too big. And every time it is not possible for our system to analyze such data. Otherwise, the total performance of the system gets reduced. Okay. So that's why we always try to ignore all such data which are not relevant to our project. Okay, then all the at the integrated corpora level, what you try to do, you try to actually combine the results or the features or whatever you have received from feature analysis stage. Then you will try to combine all of them. Okay, then you may apply the feature thresholding after that. Okay, so the total number of data can be reduced. If you don't want to use thresholding, you may use any other technique. Say you can apply the fuzzy clustering, right? Or using that all the fuzzy c-means or any other technique, so that the total number of residues further can be reduced. This is why we are doing this, because there is enormous data and we want to reduce such data. So this is actually what we are trying to do at the NLP level. And after that, say if you want to get the different categorical data, and you have say 20 documents, you have 4 categories, then 4 categories may be cricket, entertainment, medical science, or education. So all these 20 documents, if you're collecting some from some resource, then you can categorize these documents into these relevant into these categories. Okay. And secondly, there are actually some other problems related to the documents, curse of dimensionality, if the dimensions are really very big, and how to reduce the total number of dimensions. Say, and second problem is a misclassification of data, misclassification of the final results, misclassification of the documents into some irrelevant category. There are many other issues which are applicable with the machine learning and text processing also. Okay, so actually we try to get such data, such results, so that all these problems can be reduced up to a level, so that the project should produce very good results, and nearly about 99% or 100%. So similarly, the case scenario second, I'm taking this in the concept of the image processing. What if any image consists of some textual data, right? So what you will do, Obviously, you will do the OCRing. That means you want to, if there is any image which is having only textual data, what you do with the notes, with your notes, you try to take a picture of that, and you just read it, then what is written in your notes, right? But what you, if you want to extract the data from your image, and if it is not containing any other image, any picture, any scene, any other type of image, it is containing only text, and you want to extract that text from your image, then what will you apply? This is another application. This is another application of the NLP, but a little bit complex application. Okay, here again you are processing the documents, because a document contains only one image here in this case, right? But if you're taking the first case scenario, there the document was containing multiple pages. Say a Word document may contain 10 to 20 pages, right? But here in the case of image, you're taking one image as one document or one file, and you want to extract the data, you want to get the text from that. So how you will apply the scenario? The very first thing, if you see that, what you will do, you will simply apply the OCR, optical character recognition. You will just find out the characters, but these are the characters. Now how you will apply that NLP technique, how you will merge NLP here with the ML, right? The thing is that you are having an English language document, and you want to get all the words of English text, whatever it is written in that document, in image actually. Then firstly, you may apply OCR, otherwise you will try to extract the words directly. But if you try to get the words directly, that will be the word images, not will be the word normal words as we see in the text. These are not the normal words, these are the word labels or the word images. These images should be further processed. And if you see these steps, so firstly we should get the image document, we should acquire the document, we should extract the text from this document, we can perform the OCRing, optical character recognition. We should retrieve the information, analyze the features. After retrieving all the characters of a document, even if we are not sure that small c and capital C are interpreted as capital C or small c, or there is some any error. Because in the image recognition, in the text recognition, when we do the OCRing, there are many problems which may happen, which may occur while processing any printed or handwritten documents. That's why in the image document processing, whenever we take an image, any printed or any handwritten image or any mixed type of image, it's a very difficult thing to extract the character. Then we should provide the labels to each character. And even if we want to extract the text out of it, we should go ahead. This is the first part of the OCRing. Then we can extend the results. Now I have given here the extensions. What you can do, you can identify the script. It is written in English. It is a Roman script, Devanagari script, or Gujarati script, or Gurumukhi script, or French, or any other, right? You can go for this application. Or you can identify, you can differentiate between handwritten and printed documents. Again, you need to check this one. Again, you are using the NLP concepts. Why you are using? First, like you are taking the input as an image, but now whenever you will extract the data from this image, then that that data will be in the normal form, right? In the normal text form. Now you will process that data. Now you need to process that data. You may apply the document recognition, document processing, document analysis for the images also. Okay. So similarly, you can segment the text. You can have some separation techniques for that. You can recognize the words. It's a very difficult thing, difficult point to identify the words exactly, because there may be so many errors, because we are extracting the data from the images, not from the Word document or the text document, right? Next, we can perform the optical character recognition, the classification of each letter 26 small letters of English, 26 big capital letters of English. So there are a total of 26 plus 26, 52 letters, right? Similarly, the numerals, the alphanumeric symbols, everything, every other thing you see on your keyboard, right? Every other symbol. So you need to identify in that case also. Again, you can, what you can do, what you are doing here, you are applying ML with the NLP. This is again a research area. This is again a good project through which you can go ahead. And then you can also analyze the documents, that you can classify the documents also. So this is one of the basic layout which I have given for you people. This is, you can first get the image document, then you can extract the text, you can retrieve the information. You need to actually do everything according to the images, because whenever you first, at the first level, whenever you will get the things, you will get the, extract the images of each character. You will not directly get the text or alphabets. You will not get the alphabets directly. You need to convert, you need to provide the label to each character, to that label of that. Say if I have an image of alphabet A, this is the character image, right? I need to provide a label to this character image, that this image is letter A or is of letter A. Okay, similarly, each labeling should be provided once we are doing this. And again, there should be some intermediate stages, so that we can, like, if we want to classify special text, image text documents, then in that also we need to apply some more classification stages, that we need to perform the document classification. So again, another example for the semantic analysis is a well-known example. You people aware about it. So if you are aware about that Amazon and other Flipkart companies, or any other company, you provide your reviews, your comments to that company, right? Their products. If you are, or if you are placing some order, then obviously you may provide some reviews. You can give your comments. So the review categorization is another area of the NLP. Here also you can merge your NLP with the, you can fuse the NLP with the ML, right? So again, you can get the collection of comments, the comments which you actually give for a particular product of any particular brand, for Amazon, Flipkart, Yelp, or any other company, right? Then it will be pre-processed. We have also discussed the pre-processing concepts. Then you can break the sentence. You can segment the sentences. You can analyze the features either using the feature selection method or feature extraction, or you may design your own feature analysis method also by combining feature analysis, feature selection, and feature extraction methods. Then you need to provide the training to the classifier. The classifier, maybe say if you're taking supervised learning method, you can provide the training to the classifier. Say if you are using support vector machine or random forest or decision tree, or you are using ensemble approaches, then you need to train them. Then the trained classifier will take some input text test documents, so that your system, the accuracy of your system and the performance of your system can be checked. If it is needed, then you need to analyze your system again. You need to check your system again. Okay, so this is one of the diagram which I have given for you. So we can take multiple comments for that. Then we can pre-process them. The pre-processed data for the we'll go for the further step, that is sentence segmentation. In the sentence segmentation, the sentences are segmented, the words are extracted, important and relevant words are taken, and other remaining words will be ignored directly. After that, the features are analyzed. After analysis of features, say if I am taking the feature extraction technique, I will convert all the important and relevant words to the some other format. And simultaneously, I will reduce the total number of total dimension of the total number of features. And similarly, I will extract all the features. Then we will train the classifier, right? There are many classifiers, mostly the regression analysis and regression, logistic and linear regression techniques are mostly used in the prediction, say for the weather forecasting or movie recommendation or movie hit or not hit, So these concepts are mostly used with the regression analysis. Otherwise, we can take a lot of classifiers for such analysis. We can compare the results of different analysis techniques also. We are taking so many classifiers, then we may check whether which classifier is giving us better input, better output. And these outputs can be compared, can be made compared with each other. Okay. Similarly, at the final level, obviously there will be only three type of comments, the three type of categories: positive comments, neutral comments, and the negative comments. Okay. You may design your own comment category also. You may also design some other type of category where you can have different type of comments. Okay. So positive, negative, some merging of that, or some fusion of that comments also there, because sometimes fake news are also there, fake comments are also there. So this is one area of the semantic analysis, how to check whether the comment is fake or not, whether it's a real one or it's a fake one, right? The recommendation systems is another area of semantic analysis, whether to recommend that product. I mean, the customer will be recommending this product to some any of his friend, any of his colleague or not. Okay, this is one other area which can be used, right? So these fields are there, but their bifurcations are, I mean, this is actually a chain. There are multiple research areas which are extracted from them. Okay. The recommendation system, the rating systems, so rating systems can be merged with the recommendation systems. So these type of semantic analysis systems, analytic system, prediction systems can be generated. And one more scenario I've given here, that is a fake news categorization. In the fake news categorization also, you may take that if you are taking any news article, there are many news articles, you know, that we can take it from the different internet websites, and the fake news data is also available on the websites, on different standard data sets are also available. So you can check these data sets whether the news is real or actually fake. Okay, for that you need to check, this is the news data set. You should first collect the news data set from different resources. Then you can pre-process such data. You need to analyze the features. You need to check the relevant and irrelevant features. Okay, so the news, in that you can check, say for an example, the title of the news, the subject of the news. Okay, so such type of data, the date of the news, it's a fake news, fake date or no, say 26th of 29th of that February, 29th of February 2021. So it's a fake date, right? You know, people know that this date doesn't exist. So such type of data are also checked, also processed. And when we check this fake news, when we categorize such fake news, there is one more term that is known as ambiguous news, right? That means a news article or a news or sentence, it is creating multiple meanings. The reader is not able to identify the exact meaning of that particular statement, that is known as ambiguous news. And many times if you see that in the other WhatsApp also, or on some other sites or some where else, people try to float such type of fake news. So such news images or data are actually extracted, are actually checked, whether they are relevant, whether they are fake or real. So their identification, their authentication is also checked. So whether it is okay or not. So if you try to proceed with that case, you should take the real-time data from the websites, and then you should come to know that which one is the ambiguous news. Even you can work with the WhatsApp data also, the news articles or the data which is actually floated on the WhatsApp or any other social media. Then you can categorize such data as a fake news or the real news. So these categorization steps are also there. Again, you will try to categorize them. That categorization is completely related to the classification, completely related to the classifying. Okay, that means the supervised or unsupervised learning methods. Okay, so many languages are available. Python and other languages are available through which you can design such systems. You should design a strong system so that a particular scenario can be covered properly, the accuracy, the performance of the system, the confusion matrix should be strongly constructed, and the results can be produced properly. So this is the case which we can take for this. Again, the data set collection, the news articles, the collected data, and we can pre-process that. We can extract the features, or we can select the features if we want, and then we can train the classifiers. We can check the accuracy. We can validate the data, validate the results, verify the results. So all these can be included with that. So this is all about the presentation. If you have any queries.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm just connecting with my viewers for the question answering session. If there is any question from the viewer side, I just forward that question to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Ma'am,
sir.
just one students want to know that which kind of professional course he can do to gain knowledge in the natural language processing. And if you just want to create a one good application for the natural language processing, like text to speech or speech to text kind of. So which kind of languages he want to learn for the same?
Okay, the actually the tools which are being used in today's market, they are the Python and MATLAB. These tools are really very good, and in that you can get the good accuracy and performance results. Secondly, if you want to go for the conversion of speech to text and text to speech, even then the courses which are available, you can go for the Coursera courses. So in Coursera courses, there are multiple courses. They give the assignments, they provide you the different materials. You can go for them. Secondly, some tools are available on Oracle also related to the AI and NLP. So even you can go for that courses, and with that you can get the knowledge of all these NLP based concepts.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so I'm just checking it. If any, there's another question. Okay, ma'am, I think so. There is no another questions from the viewer side. So we are concluding our today's webinar. So behalf from the Parul University and behalf of the Parul Institute of Technology, Computer Science and Engineering Department. So I am just thanking you so much to have yourself over here and share a really valuable knowledge regarding the artificial intelligence and machine learning and the natural language processing, ma'am. So I'm again thanking you from the behalf of the university, Parul University, and the staff member of the CSC department, Parul Institute of Technology. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So should I leave the session, sir?
Yes, ma'am, we are concluding the session.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.